Hello YouTubers. So today I'm going to do a video and try something that I've never tried before. I basically went through the internet and printed out some pictures of some dragons that I like. Do be careful going through the internet because some of them have got copyright on them. But we're not using the actual dragon as our dragon on our drawings. It's somebody else's drawings, and all we're going to do is we're going to put some clay and make the shapes of them. Okay. So I picked out just some random drawings, all of dragons. That looks very similar to the dragons that I made in the previous video. There's another eye, dragon there. That's the biggest one. I mean that's a stock photo of somebody's. And some tattoo dragons because I liked this one in the middle. Obviously you're not going to get this sort of detail on it, but you're going to get the basic shape, which is what you want. Now initially I was going to do this one, but I printed out an eye. Let me turn these over so you've got a clear background. Let me take that one off. Put it under there because there's too much drawing on that one. Let me go through it. Okay, so I printed out an eye and thought about doing it like in situ. But actually, what I found is, oh, that way around, it looks really good, the shapes that it is. So what I'm going to do is cut them out of a flat piece of clay. Now this is going to go on my goblet in the next video that I make. Okay, so it's going to look something like this, but I wanted something a little bit different. I do apologise about the snoring. It's my Rottweiler. She snores more in the heat. Because she's a little bit on the hot side. Okay, so we were going to make a goblet, which will be in the next video, but I'm going to do dragon scales and everything all up the side of that one. So this is what I thought we'd do. So if I cut these shapes out, was what my theory was, then we'll see what we've got. So I got some green, mix it with some brown, which you probably won't see until we flatten it out. So let's cut it. Ugh. Like so, because we want it flat. And I want it fairly thick as well. So I'm going to do it on my highest setting, which is number 1 or number 6, whichever way you're going round. And I'm going to fold it in half when we get there, so it's nice and thick. So I'm just going to pop this through the pasta machine to make it flat on the thickest setting. Actually, that might be thick enough. Like so. Ugh. I'm just going to run that through a couple of times, if you'll bear with me. Oh. Okay, so this is what we've got now. So let's put it on a tile, because that way then we don't have to lift it off unless we will have to, because we're going to use it. Okay, so do also remember you won't be able to fire this until you've actually used it for what you want to use it for. So if you want to put it on a glass, you'll have to put it on there because it make the rounded shapes. So one bit at a time. I'm just going to stick it down on there, like so. And I'm going to take my knife and I'm going to gently just cut it roughly, trying to keep the same sort of shape as it is. Okay, and just make sure you have definitely cut it, because there we go. And there it goes. Just take your time. There's no rush. See, I've made that one slightly longer, but that won't matter. Like so. And what you want to do is do this on all of the pieces. I say all the pieces, but we've only got 3. Try and make sure it stays in the same place. It's quite difficult because it's got a black edging on it. This was a drawing I found on the internet that somebody has drawn, which I think is a really lovely drawing. So there we go, that's one. Any bits that are missing, just fill them in. So like so. So the next part we're going to do is this part. And I'm just going to cut this corner off because that looks like it should be part of that, because that's the eye. So just do that bit. Well, I might just leave that. Oh no, just do it. I was going to say I might leave it to one side, and then if we don't need it, oh, there we go, it's gone. But if I cut it, we won't need it. If I don't, we will. There we go. Don't screw up your pieces because you'll need to see what's what at the end of it. Okay, so this is the other bit that's greeny. I mean, theirs is blue, which looks very lovely, but I wanted to go for a bit more traditional and go with a green one. Because what I'd like to do at the end of this is put it on a my goblet. Oh dear. Okay, so if it moves, just move it back into place. You've got your basic sort of outline, so you know where it's got to go. Oh dear, well now it's completely off. Okay, I'm going to go with this end because it's the most. I think that looks good to me. Yeah, that's okay. Hold it if you have to. It's because this one's got a black line on it, so I can't actually see where the black line is coming to. Okay, and then we go. I just want trying to cut it so that you can actually see it. I don't want my hand to be completely in the way all the time. I'm right on the very last bit. Right there. Okay, so let's take that one off. It wasn't quite as easy as we thought that one was going to be, but we've got our basic shape, so you should be able to lift up now, and that should just pull away. There we go. Any little bits that are still in there, just pull them out. Now, all we're doing is using this as a basic guideline. So if there's something you don't like, you change it. It doesn't matter. It's a basic guideline for what you want to do. So it just works very well that way. And there we go, and that's that bit there. So what we want to do next, I think, is go around and I'm going to soften my edges. Just gently with my finger. And just go around and just so that your edges are nice and soft, so they'll work well together. Like so. See? It just takes that firmness off the edge, that squareness. By all means use a tool if you need to, just for those middle bits that are very difficult to reach, like so. Then you just rub your finger over the top and it'll just get rid of it. Like so. And trying to keep it as straight as you can. Oh, I think that bit looks good. I'm not so sure about this edge, so any edges, just run them along. You'll probably do better with something perhaps a little bit pointier. There we go, look. Just pulls off any excess then. Okay, so we're just going to use that in there as well. Okay, bear with me. Right, okay folks, I've been around the edges of these ones and just straightened them out a little bit. Not massively, it took me a couple of minutes, not long. Just sort of evened them out a little bit so they looked a little bit more on the fresher side. Okay, so now we're going to do the eye. Now I want the eye to sort of bulge out a little bit more. So I've done my clay on the highest setting, thickest setting. And now I've folded it in half so it's slightly thicker than this. Not much, just a little bit. Place it on there and cut round it like you did before. And try and keep this a little bit straight if you can, because it gives you the good eye shape that you're going to need. Okay, there we go. So we've got a good eye shape there, and it is much thicker than the other bits we did. So we're just going to flatten down the edges a little bit because you don't want it a harsh edge, like so. Keeping the ends nice and sort of with it. Okay, like so. There we go. Okay, and then what we're going to do from here is we're going to build it up. So get your eye and then figure out which bits go where. So that goes at the bottom. So that, looking at that, is that bit. So I know that that bit goes underneath. Now if they're stuck down, do be careful and use a blade if need be to lift. I mean, they're not too bad, to be honest. Okay, so like that. Let's move that bit further in. And now you're going to stick it on there, or push it and butt it up as much as you can. Now my ones, I'm going to put eyelids on mine because I don't like, they've done a black line on theirs and I'm not keen on that. Okay, so just pull it off and then just kind of butt it up like so, as much as you can, like that, and then just sort of sweep your edge down so it sort of sits on there nicely, like so. Okay, now if there's any parts that end up being moved, just move them back out, that's alright, like so, like that, and put them where you want them. I want to try and follow the same pattern of where they are. So you could put it back on top if you wanted to, and you can see I've made a couple of adjustments where I've wanted them longer and whatnot. That's probably gone longer because of the way, just going around the edges. But you could burnish it if you wanted to with paper, which would stop it from stretching if you like. You wouldn't lose your shape so much then, but I'm quite happy with that. Okay, so I know the other piece then goes at the top. This piece here. So I'm just going to lift it up. There we go. And I'm going to have to get my eye. Put that over there. I just need to figure out which way around it goes. So it kind of fits in the middle there. Okay, so that needs to obviously come down a bit more. Like so. Checking your edges as you go because you don't want rough edges. And if you've got a rough edge, just gently sort of rub it with your tool. Okay, so I think that's kind of where I want it to be. Okay, so this is going to fit over the top like so. So if you're unsure again, just get your piece of your template, okay, and just gently sort of push it down to where it's supposed to be, not where you want it. Well, where you want it really, because it's really is up to you. Okay, just like that. Okay, and then this little bit, I think we cut it from, where did we cut that from? The back here it must have been. Okay, so I'm going to try and figure out which way round it went for a start. I'm going to miss that bit out. I don't think I need that bit in there. Now I know this bit at the front here, which would be this bit here, is, I'm just going to have that come down a little bit more like that. You can add more bits to it afterwards if you wanted to. Like so. And then just literally keep your edges rubbed. If you don't like the tip of it, it doesn't look right, come off and cut it off. Okay, so we're going to, this bit here, I like lined, going all the way down to here, like so. So if you wanted to make the marks deeper, you could just use your diggy in tool, and that would work. Like so. So rather than it looking like a cut, it would be just a mark. So if you want to, I don't know that I like that, to be honest. And if it's too deep, just gently tuck your finger over it and just like so, and it just kind of mingles it back. Like so. There we go. And then other bits, pardon my Rottweiler again, is there. So what we want to do next is put the eye bit on, just there. So it's just a piece of black. Nice point, you don't want it too thick. So like so. And flatten it out so it's not rounded. And then stick it where you fancy it going. I like the idea of theirs is slightly bent. Like so. And then you kind of stick it where you want it. Like so. I think that's too far forward. It's not kind of in the middle. Just pick it off and move it along. Like so. And there we go. Then if you just gently rub it, the marks will come out of it on the other one. There we go. So I think what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put an eyelid on it and just a small one at the bottom. I don't like the way... Puppy! So I'm just going to draw using the eye, because it gives me a good to figure out how thick or how wide it needs to go. So it's just slightly bigger than the eye, really. What's up, Pup? And the top. What you doing? Okay. Looking for my husband. I might make it a bit thinner, actually. That might work very well. Right, I'm going to go halfway down. We'll go... What are you doing? Come over here, you Wally. Come here. No, too extra. Sorry, folks. Like I say, I've never done this before, so it's all a bit of a learning curve for me as well. Okay. So let's see if that works. Literally all we're doing is you just want it a little bit bigger than the actual eye, and it just gives you a good shape for the eyebrow. That's how I would do it anyway. And if you cut it then like so, and like so, then technically you'd have your bottom bit, because I should decorate this. like I've done with all my other dragons. I will decorate and make it my own. Okay, so we're just going to put that down there and make it so that it definitely fit. I think that's, yeah, the top, that's why it's not fitting. And I think that might be a little bit too wide, maybe. Actually, I don't know. No, that looks alright, I think. Dear me. Okay, just brush the front because you don't want a harsh edge. Like so. Looks like he's very tired now. Okay, and then this one's to go around the bottom here. Okay, so just like that. Just like that. So with your pointy tool, you could, if you wanted to push it a little bit further, or, oh no, his eyes fell off. Like so. Just going to mix it there, and then down there as well. Trying to rub out lumps and bumps as you go. Okay, now the little piece of eye that I've got there, I'm going to put back in, as she says. Okay, so to decorate, when I say I'm going to decorate something, it usually means, so like I did the dragons a couple of months ago now. They're fantastic and they're decorated all over. So this is what we're going to do. So I like to make a mine. Do I want a piece? And I never know really what I'm going to do. It's always just a, like so, pushing that on there all the way along. So I'm going to use a, I don't know, where are my boxes? Let me have a look. Oh, there they are. Now these were off of Amazon. And they're my little tiddlers, my little circle cutters, and they're great for putting on. So just going over it. Okay, so I quite like this pattern. Kind of gives you a scaly kind of feel, like so. Okay, so the next bit I don't know, make some dots and just put them on the eyelid sort of area there, and just go along just making some miniature dots. This is kind of what I call the fun part. You can literally do anything you want. Use any colour you want. I might add, I don't know. So just all the way down. Just follow that first line we put in all the way down. It's about there. If you wanted to fill it out a little bit more here, you could do over the top of what we just done, because it gives it a base behind it. As long as they were sort of singular and you don't want them sort of mingling up onto each other. I quite like the blobs because, I mean, they really do cover and they look great. Oh. Oh. That's the trouble when you get them smaller. They're a little bit more fiddly. No, I don't know what my Rottweiler's dreaming about, but it must be good. Oh, I like that. It looks great. Like I say, it's whatever floats your boat. It really is. So I think what I'll do, ladies and gentlemen, is I'll carry on doing this, and what I think, because I think I'm probably going to blob him out lots of dots. And then I'll come back to you when I finish doing what I want. So I'll just carry on, and I'll do some another row of blobs behind him. So, right, I'll come back to you in a minute, ladies and gentlemen, and we'll go from there. Hi YouTubers. So I have been and cleaned my edges up, made a billion little ball things, and I quite like where it sort of sits now. I'm really sort of liking the look. That was what we started off with, which I'm sure you can agree it's not that far off. It's just, I put bubbles bits on mine. Okay, so I've sorted out from my Arteza micro powders 3 greens and a gold. Now my thoughts are to do this bit here green and this bit here gold. I would put the gold here, but it's too close to the yellow and it'll stop you from sort of seeing the yellow. So I'm going to start off with quite a dark, so that's one of my cats going out the window. It's start off with quite a dark colour, and just literally I'm just going to go along and just sort of bobble them. So they won't all get bits on. It won't matter. It doesn't matter. I just want it to, like so. Okay. Just sort of try not to get too much on the actual eye, which I've been got on it. There we go. Because I don't want anything to sort of interrupting the colour of that. As you can see, it's coming out a beautiful colour, because I really like the moss green. It's a very nice colour. Okay, and that pretty much is nearly where I want to be with that one. It's literally just a quick coating over. I don't want to coat every single one of them. I just want to give it a bit of depth, a bit of depth going on. Okay, so that's the moss green one. So I have got a very bright one here, which is spring green, but I think that might be a bit bright. So I'll just try this one here, which is seafoam green. So it's just a different colour green. So it's, as you add them, it'll be giving out lots of depth by adding the different colours. Careful, like I say, adding on the inside here, because you will sort of dribble it onto the eye. Because they're powders, they are quite hard to control. But do the back bit first, and then that loses up any loose. And then do the front bit when it's all the loosest and it's sort of taking it off the brush. There we go. Nice. Okay. I wanted to put something on this, like decoration wise, but I just can't think of anything that would be good enough. Okay, I'm going to put a little bit of the lighter green in there. I wasn't going to, but actually I think it wouldn't be a bad... It looks alright. I'm very pleased I chose to. That gives us 3 different coloured greens. I'm sure you can appreciate that looks pretty fine. Very pleased. Yeah, the lighter green definitely gives it a bit more of a kick about it. Okay, so don't forget, like I say, on these front ones, on the inside, just make sure you use all the loose powder, if you like, on your brush on the back ones. Okay, right, so I'm happy with that. So then I got, to go on these bits, pure gold. But actually I think a darker gold would be better. Let's call it bronze, perhaps would be a better one. Arctic gold, yellow gold. I don't want light gold. Right, okay. So I found 3 golds out. I wanted a darkish one. So I think out of all of them, I'm not going to use the copper because that's not the colour we're after. So we've got yellow gold and Aztec gold. I think I quite like the Aztec if I remember rightly. It's quite a dark gold. So let's give it a go. So I've got my Kolinsky brush, which I love using because it's so fluffy and furry, and it just, look at that. What we could do is have a little bit more of a darker gold going up under the underside would be nice. Quite like it quite bitty really, so it's not full coverage. Oh my goodness, way too much. I might go for a dark green actually, coming off of there, just slightly. Or should we go with a coppery colour? I wonder what happened. Okay, so That's where we're at now. Right, and I think that looks really cool. So I'm going to just use some of the darker green just to go up against the very base of it, and it won't matter if it gets onto there a little bit, look. Just like so, it gives it a nice green sort of texture about it, which would be cool. Okay, so just going around, so I can go right up against it because it's obviously the green that's all over the actual eye. Sorry about my dog. Okay. Oh. Okay. And there we go. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Very pleased. That's ready to now go on the side of our goblet when we do that one, which will be our actual next video that we make. I think that's looking very cool. So hit that subscribe button. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.